Welcome to week 9, and this week we're talking about organizational justice, and that is the degree to which employees in the workplace perceive fairness. And there are a few different types of organizational justice. There's 4 that we're going to look at, and one of the most recognizable of these is called distributive justice. And as you might guess from the meaning of the word distributive, distributive justice is the perception to which employees feel that resources are distributed fairly. And so one of the most recognizable resources is pay. That's a big one. And so how do employees feel that pay is distributed fairly in an organization? So that's just one type of organizational justice types. We're going to look at 4 different ones. And that's one thing we're going to look at this week. Another thing we're going to talk about this week is performance appraisal. So performance appraisal goes along with organizational justice because it is a primary way in which employees are evaluated and rewarded in an organization. So they're pretty formal. They're very formal, and there's a definite procedure that goes along with them. So it's not just a casual meeting where you chat about stuff. It's a very formal procedure, and so that's kind of why we're going to go over it, and we're going to practice it. And that's actually your discussion board for this week. That's your discussion board is a practice of a performance appraisal. So 2 things to do this week. One is that discussion board that I just talked about. The other involves reading notes, and the reading notes have an article that goes with it that talks about the concept of distributive justice in the NCAA. So I just mentioned that we're going to talk about distributive justice as one of the types of organizational justice in the workplace, and now we're going to kind of use that concept of distributive justice and look at how it works in the NCAA. So the NCAA is an organization made up of various other member organizations, and one of the primary ways in which the NCAA gets revenue is it takes in membership dues from its member organizations, and then it redistributes them based on various criteria. So what are the guiding principles that the NCAA uses to redistribute that revenue, and then in what ways are those principles perceived to be fair or unfair? So we're going to look at an article that discusses some of the revenue redistribution procedures in the NCAA and how those are related to the concept of distributive justice. And then your reading notes asks you to answer some questions about that. So that's what's due this week. And then I wanted to bring your attention to 2 more bigger assignments that I hope are on your radar. The first is Organizational Audit Part 1, and that's coming up next week. So I know that you've already looked at that assignment and you've been thinking about it, but it basically asks you to pick an organization of your choice. And then this assignment breaks down the way that organization is set up based on what we've been talking about from week to week. So for example, in various parts of this assignment, you're going to be describing things like the organizational culture, according to how the principles that we talked about in organizational culture in the course content. Another thing that I'm asking you to look at in part 1 of this assignment are some of the leadership styles. So we spent a week or 2 talking about leadership styles, and I want to see material that's in that week, and I want to see you match that to the organization that you've chosen to talk about. I'm also going to ask you at some point to talk about the various reward systems that are part of that organization, and refer to the material that we've talked about specific to that. So each part of the organizational audit assignment, there are various things, various elements that we're talking about from week to week that I'm asking you to kind of break down and tell me about in the organization, and then match what's going on in your organization to the various models or theories or types or definitions that we're talking about in the weekly content. And I've broken down which week the various content is in your assignment. So you should be able to see that, and that should help you to kind of organize your thoughts and find where I'm asking you to match the material. So that's your organizational audit. That's due next week. I'm sure that you've looked at it and gotten a head start on that. Another assignment that is coming up down the road. It's not due for another several weeks, but I wanted to bring your attention to it because I have assigned the groups for it, is your case study assignment. So I have put you into groups for the case study assignment, and you can see the assignment folder, the case study assignment folder, in your assignments link in your left menu. So once you find your case study assignment folder, you will see a link titled Case Study Group in that folder where you can see who is in your group. And I will email you within that group as well. I will use the various tools in that group to email you and talk to you and tell you this is your group, please talk to each other. So once you click into your group, you will see the following: a list of group members, and then group tools, including a file exchange where I've posted your case study, a blog, and then an email tool. And you can either use this email tool to communicate with each other, or you can just use regular old-fashioned email, whatever seems to be working for you. And there are 3 components to this assignment. So first, there's a paper that you'll write as a group. That's a short paper that you'll write as a group proposing a solution to your case study. You're going to submit 1 paper as a group, and you're going to submit that through the group tool in your Blackboard groups. The second thing, part of this assignment, is a presentation that you'll upload to the discussion board so that the rest of your class can see your solution. It explains your solution to the rest of the class. And then 2 weeks after those 2 things are due, you will need to pick one of those other presentations for the other case studies and write an alternate solution to the solution that was presented. So you may look at a solution and say, oh, that was good, but I can think of another way to approach it. And then that's going to be your response. And this part is individual, so you're going to do this on your own, not with your group. And it just looks like a regular assignment tool upload like we're used to in this class. So, about this assignment, a few words about this assignment itself and how you should be framing your solution to your case study. Your case study is a problem presented in the workplace, some type of problem. And so you will be thinking about what approaches you'll take to solve this problem. So you will need to use ideas from course material. For example, do you want to change the organizational structure? Do you think that might be a route or a solution to your problem? Or do you want to change elements of job design? Maybe that would help your problem. Or maybe we need to implement some theories or models related to organizational culture. Or maybe you're going to redesign some of the organizational justice elements that we talked about in class that you can see in your problem. So whatever strategies you choose, those are just some ideas. Whatever strategies you choose, you're going to describe the theories or models that you see as contributing to the problem, and then how you're going to use that theory or model to change the situation. And then apply that particular theory or model to your particular situation and describe what the situation may look like once you make those changes. So what does the solution look like according to the theory or model, and what kinds of changes are you going to have to make according to that theory or model, and what does that look like in your organization? And of course, as you work through it, feel free to ask me questions or talk it through with me. As always, please let me know any questions or concerns that you have with this assignment. I know that group work is a little bit complicated, I know that, but this is an organizational management and leadership class. So it's kind of what this class is about. There are going to be problems and there are going to be difficulties within an organization when you start having various teamwork situations. So this is a situation where we're going to work through that. But as always, feel free to let me know any questions or concerns, and we'll take them as they come. So please have a good week, and I look forward to working with you.